as you want to hear it.
And we don't censor. We're not going to hold this. We're not going to hold this dynamo back because the people got to hear the word. We're not going to let them be censored because the government, our government is out of control. The military-industrial complex, billions of dollars wasted, endless war. What do you think of this war in Iraq and Afghanistan, Ariel?
This morning, John Michael just came back from Iraq. He's my ex-husband, who's a bum, his brother, and now he just wants to go back and kill people. Isn't that fucking lovely? Okay. You know, screw that shit.
No, it's disgusting. It's endless war. This stuff goes on and on. We're here to tell you that we've got to stop this madness, stop this
madness.
What I've been telling these good viewers is that declare victory and bring our troops home.
Bring them home. They should have been home a hell of a long time ago. What the hell are we doing there? When we took that asshole statue down, we should have just left. The minute we took that bastard statue down, what happened? Them little fuckers, they went after our guys. Sorry.
They don't appreciate the sacrifice. The sacrifice that we've been putting our
Nobody does. Through. Somalia did the same shit to us.
It's nuts. This is like an endless.
We are not the world's police.
Well, let's get focused on some of these issues like
medical marijuana. Let's hit that one first.
Let's even start with the overall issue of the war on drugs. Now, this goes back to Richard Nixon. How many billions of dollars have we wasted on this war on drugs? We've totally destroyed Mexico. Mexico is totally corrupt because of the illegal
CIA shit.
Crime wave that's going. CIA bringing cocaine to Los Angeles. That's been documented.
Let's hear it for the fucking CIA. Screw on.
So we're talking about corruption on a massive level.
Massive.
And we're talking about the corrupt drug war. Didn't we learn anything from Prohibition in the 30s? You can't.
We got the New World Order here.
You can't make this stuff illegal because the people demand it. What you got to do is have treatment centers for people that abuse it. Why fill up the jails?
Do what Amsterdam did.
They're filling up our jails with the low-level, small fry
pot smokers.
Pot smokers, throwing these people in jail for unbelievable terms.
Bullshit. They need to be in rehab.
Yeah, and if we legalized it, we could have
we could make the people that are sick
like
well. It's a sickness. It's a disease. A disease is anything that you are dependent upon. I don't care if it's sex. I don't care if it's alcohol. I don't care if it's meth. Even pot. If you can't control yourself, don't fucking do it. Get your ass in rehab and get some help. But our laws in this country, the minute they took away alcohol, what happened? Everything went fucking crazy. How many years later they had to legalize it? And now, it's okay. I don't think that, alcoholism is okay. I drink a little bit now and then. Okay,
well, you can abuse anything.
You can abuse anything.
And we're not talking about in marijuana.
There are some people
the
who don't
bureaucrats are going to
say
the bureaucrats are going to say, "Oh, it's a gateway drug. You smoke a little marijuana. Next thing you're shooting heroin up your leg." Nah, give us some. Of course, there's going to be a 1% that abuse it. Well, that's why we have these clinics.
The word gateway sucks.
Let's say you spend $10 for a joint or something. We legalize
it. Is that what you're buying it for?
Yeah, no, I'm just rounding it up. Well, $1 of that, $10, will go to treatment. We'll be able
if that does.
We can turn all these Catholic churches into treatment centers.
No, I don't even want to walk into one of them. I don't walk into cults.
You won't, because
Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to the real Jesus, Isa or Yeshua. Whether you're Arabic, whether you're Jewish, and whether you're Christian, I'm sure you fucking understood that, okay? I wanted to thank you for watching those little snippets from old past shows. Right now we're going to be focusing on the same thing we've been discussing, which is medical marijuana and marijuana in the Bible or in God's Word. In fact, the Bible shouldn't be called the Bible because there's no such word as Bible, but I'll tell you that it means basic instructions before leaving Earth, okay? Just in case you wanted to know. We're going to be discussing a few subjects right here. One of them is the last segment here, and it's God's commandments and the compassion that Jesus had, which is what a lot of us lack. And the problem a lot with cannabis is people don't have any compassion. Matter of fact, a lot of people I know actually omit or don't have a little chip in their body, it's called empathy chip, okay? A lot of people could give a shit less whether you're in suffering or dying or whatever, but Christ was not like that. Yeshua himself was extremely compassionate, and God's word tells us that he healed all who were inflicted. All is an inclusive word. It's one of the smallest words in God's word, but it's a very important word. It's like if. If is probably one of the biggest words in God's word, and it's such a small one, but it's so very powerful. Okay? Compassion and suffering. Should we allow people to suffer while one plant that we have could relieve all their pain? Matthew 9:36 and Mark 8:2. We'll discuss that, and we'll have them on the screen so you can read them for yourselves. Jesus himself never let anyone suffer, ever. So why should we? If it's okay with God, and it's God's law, why should we break it? And who in the hell do we think we are anyway to be breaking it, okay? Our job is to continue what God put here and to make sure that people get the truth about it, okay? And that's what we're trying to do here on The Real Yeshua or Jesus, okay? We're just trying to bring you out of the ignorance into the light, okay? Ignorance and understanding. Although we've been secretly taught, or brainwashed is another word, by our churches, traditional teachings, that cannabis is bad. I want to tell you something and listen very carefully to what I'm about to say to you. Not only are they sincerely wrong, they have their fucking nerve. God never created anything bad, okay? Ever. God never did that, okay? That is man who fucked shit up that God created for us. God creates, man makes, okay? God gives you rocks, we make iron. God gives you cows, we slaughter them, we make leather, okay? Create and make. Get it? Pay attention, okay? God created marijuana, okay? He created it for us, for our health, for our spiritual needs, for enlightenment, for clothing, for everything. In fact, many of the ships that came over here, everything on the Constitution was 100% made out of hemp, all the way down to the uniforms worn by the sailors, the masks, the rope, everything, okay? So don't tell me there's something wrong with the plant. What it is there's something fucking wrong with you, okay? And what you think about the plant or what you've been taught about it. God never made anything bad for us. What we do is take misunderstanding or what we don't understand and we abuse it. And if you don't understand something, all you can hope to do is possibly abuse it, okay? That is a sin, a very grave sin, okay? And I myself have a problem with that, and I always talk about that. Proverbs 4:7. I'm going to tell you this. This is one of my favorite verses. It's because you need to get this to understand this. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Because if you don't get it, you're getting fucked, okay? If you don't understand what God says, open this book and read it for yourself, okay? This is God's written word, inspired, okay? All that is contained in here, all these books, it's your understanding of what you've been taught about it that scares you or has made you ignorant. And ignorant only means lack of knowledge in that field that we are discussing, okay? Marijuana in the Bible, our webpage is going back up, and it'll be www.theradicalrabbi.com probably again. We're also going to be having, hope to be having, and should be having a medical marijuana hemp fest. We need volunteers, by the way. We need people to work it. We need actually a place to have it. We have a couple venues that we're thinking about, but we're thinking about having a really rock-on one this summer, separate from other issues, you know. Hopefully Norma will be able to step in and help us, and the Green Party, and we're just going to really blow it out this year if we can. But we need volunteers and we need you guys to help, okay? We need people to do all kinds of stuff. So you can call Northwest Community Television and ask to talk to Richard A. Baum-Clady, who's the producer, and we can get you down for help, and we'll get this thing going and get it moving, and hopefully get this law changed in this state too, and get some medicine to some sick people who really seriously need it. Like my sister, it sustained her life for years, seeing how she didn't have a stomach at all. Okay. I think that you need to understand too that just because we're going to be having a huge medical marijuana thing, it's not going to bring in the cops in and all that kind of stuff. I personally have talked to many of my friends who are sheriffs and police officers. Do you have any idea how sick they are of doing stupid paperwork when they have better things to be doing, like busting meth labs, you know, and going around and busting crack houses and stuff like that that's really fucking people up, okay? Pot, they're kind of sick of it and they want to deal with it, except idiots that grow mass amounts of it for their own personal use, okay? And I agree with them on that. That's bullshit, okay? We're going to be discussing later on, you know, other probably shows coming up really quick, where we're going to be having the venues and how we're going to be putting the show together. But we are going to be having, and hopefully this summer, having a great, big, huge blowout concert. And hopefully we'll have a lot of good headliners too. We'll hopefully have the Shaky Shaman guys there too, which is Richard's band. Yes, Richard A. Clady is a freaking rock and roller. I'm sorry, what can I say? I'm a blues lover, And I love to rock a little bit too. But we're going to be doing it for the sick people. And we're going to be raising, people's enlightenment in the state of Minnesota to the issues of medical marijuana. Serious issues. Like a friend of mine whose name is Chris, we like to call him Props. He just had brain cancer, surgery on his brain. The police showed up at his door, knocked it down, threw his kids and his wife on the floor and pulled guns on their heads over a few tiny 6-inch plants that some asshole had lied to them about. And by the way, the asshole's name is Dana, okay? Had lied to the police about what he had in his house to get off. It's called a squealer, okay? Snitches belong in ditches, okay? That's a little bit left over from my prison time, but they do, okay? So what happened was Chris Props and his family got thrown on the floor for having a few tiny little marijuana plants. Now, they have not charged him yet. And this is our task force in Malacca, who I might say are some of the best sheriffs around, okay? I don't believe they knew when they were going in there what exactly was going on. And when they got there, I'm sure they were quite disappointed at what they found. They found a man who just had brain surgery and half of his head cut open in front of them. I do believe that he was treated okay at the jail. Our jail in Malacca, the Sheriff's Department jail, although our sheriff is a total asshole named Britton Lindgren, every one of his men are the top sheriffs in the state. And they are wonderful sheriffs. I can't even begin to tell you how wonderful they are, including our task force, which is headed off by a friend of mine named Pat Broberg. Good officer of the law. Very good officer. He should probably be sheriff rather than Britton Lindgren or Joe Backlund. He should be sheriff. But we'll deal with that later. We still have 4 more years of this asshole in office. So this is what happened to Chris, and all because of a plant. Okay, now if the plant was legal and Chris needs it for nausea, he's going through chemotherapy, he has brain therapy, brain cancer right now, and he's going through therapy. If he had and could smoke legally, there wouldn't be a problem with this. His nausea is rampant. He's throwing up all the time. He has chemotherapy. His weight is dropping. Leave the sick people alone. I have never in my life seen more stupid busts, and I'm sure I know a lot of cops that are totally not even wanting to be involved in these dumb ass busts that are for sick people, okay? They're so sick of it, they can't even deal with it. Our state leaders need to do some things to change some laws, and we need to get the medical marijuana issue on the ballot here again. Seriously. Now that we got no more Pawlenty, okay? Tim Pawlenty was the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life. What a fucking idiot, okay? What an idiot. What a total jerk, okay? And Jesse, I'm sorry, you should have worked a little bit harder for, to get this law passed. This year, let's start making a dent in the medical marijuana issue in Minnesota. Let's get some sick people the medicine they need. And let's get this law taken care of so that we don't have to go to jail anymore. Anytime we don't want to throw up, anytime we're sick, anytime we need to use one of God's plants for its purpose. And on that right there, I'm going to let you know that we're going to be getting into some other issues later on that are kind of hairy. That's okay because I like hairy. But right now, we got to get going. Our show is coming to an end. So I would like to thank you for being here. Remember that this is Northwest Community Television, Channel 12. And Richard A. Baum-Clady is my producer who I'm thanking. Our show is brought to you here. And pretty soon you're going to be able to see it all over the place because we hope to be right up in your face, as always. So, you have a wonderful weekend. Shalom Aleichem. And we'll see you on the next segment of our show. Bye-bye.